Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our pep talk today, Fueling the Family. We're so glad you could be here. My name, for those of you who haven't met me yet, is Megan, and I am the Marketing and Creative Manager here at the Parents Estate Planning Law Firm. You may be surprised to see my face here in this space today instead of that of our founding attorney, David Feeks. And the reason for that is that we have been hearing from parents over the past few months just how overwhelmed you are and how challenging these times have been. And so while we remain here ready to help your families with their legal needs, we thought it would be even more valuable for you if we showed up in this space that we had created with other resources that can meet your most pressing needs right now. So recently we hosted another one of these pep talks with Amanda Hem of Sutians, which tackled managing and reducing stress during the back to school season and transition in whatever that looked like for you. And if you haven't seen that talk yet, I encourage you to go and check it out. It was a great conversation between our client services director, Paula, and Amanda. You can find it on our website, parentestateplanning.com, under more videos. But today we are here to tackle another topic that is front of mind for many of us parents, and that is food. Thinking about it, planning it, cooking it, getting the kids to eat it. And that is why we are so thrilled to have Minna Scholten with us today. Minna is a dietitian at large in the North Central Massachusetts area and a dietitian partner with Hannaford Supermarkets, where until recently she had been conducting demonstrations and store tours and consulting with customers free of charge around shopping and cooking. Minna's mission as a dietitian really resonated with our team. Her aim is to help people navigate nutrition and health and life, and to do so with ease. And I think we could all use a lot more ease in our lives these days, which is why I am so excited and so thankful to have Minna with us here today. So Minna, thank you so much for being here and joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is great. I am happy to say that we are back in stores on a limited basis. So I am doing both some virtual education like this event and also continuing to do some in-store events too. I work at 2 Hannaford locations in Lunenburg and in Leominster, Massachusetts at the Lancaster Street store. And other Hannaford dietitians are spread out all over New England and at many Massachusetts stores. So this is, though, a big part of what we're doing now, right, is we're navigating this kind of new normal here together. And I just wanted to acknowledge, again, as Megan did, how challenging this has all been, especially for those of us who are parents. I'm the parent of a spunky 5-year-old girl, and yeah, it's this, these past few months have had major ups and downs. And however you're showing up today as a parent, positive or negative, mixture of both most likely is absolutely okay. I'm coming off of a really pretty pleasant long weekend, but also, you know, just kind of having a little difficulty transitioning into the week, and connecting with community really helps ground me as a person. So I'm really happy to have this forum to do that. So thanks, Megan, and everybody there for inviting me to come and speak with you.
Well, we are so excited. And like you mentioned, we're all adapting, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think it's been so great that you've been able to take some of your resources in your events and move them online. Yes. Recently, I think what kind of connected us was that you, in your capacity at Hannaford Supermarkets, conducted a remote learning in the classroom, or remote learning in the kitchen, pardon me, event, a virtual class for families. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what you're hearing from parents around their struggles with food and meals and distance learning and how they might intersect.
Yeah, definitely. So this topic was really, really timely. I was just originally going to do a generic kind of family meals presentation, but remote learning is the thing now, and I really am pretty passionate about getting kids in the kitchen. It offered a really great opportunity to connect with parents on a really more meaningful and relevant level. So the struggles are real. We all of a sudden are finding ourselves providing food for many of us, everyone in the household, for 3 meals a day, which for a lot of families is more than doubling their meal preparation, right, from home. And all of a sudden we're doing this all under the same roof together, kind of all the time. And so this intimacy has its upshots for sure. It's pretty great a lot of times, and it also presents some challenges. So I think the two things that I kind of hear from most from folks are kind of incorporating distance learning and into the daily routine, right? Into the daily tasks we all have to complete, including cooking, and also plain old kitchen fatigue. There's a lot of folks experiencing some kitchen burnout right now. So hopefully I'll offer you a few strategies to approach that, conceptualize that, and manage that a little bit.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is front of mind for me personally, and is a question that I did want to ask you. You know, for those of us that, like you said, are doubling the work that we're doing in the kitchen right now, and just double the planning that we're doing right now, what are some strategies that you might suggest parents employ to combat that fatigue around planning, preparing, cooking in a way that keeps healthy food on the table?
Yeah, there are many strategies, but I'm going to offer my favorite one because I think it's really adaptable and applicable to a lot of different households, no matter what your kind of tastes and preferences are. So I'm a big fan of deconstructed meals. This is something we do a lot in our house. A deconstructed meal being a meal where various components are presented on the table, and family members can then choose for themselves which of those components they're going to incorporate onto their plate. So a great example is say a baked potato bar, or you're offering maybe sweet potatoes and white potatoes and a variety of different toppings. And this is really great from both a developmental perspective for kids and also a nutritional perspective. So nutritionally, it's a wonderful opportunity to offer a variety of different items from different food groups, each having their own nutritional benefit, right? So we're offering our really great complex starches, maybe 1 or 2 protein sources, and a variety of fruits and veggies on the table for produce. Some of them can be cooked, some of them can be raw. Condiments and spices and other things to add flavor can be offered individually so that it respects the taste and preferences of everybody involved. Bringing me to kind of some of the developmental benefits. These kinds of food exposures are really important especially for our younger age children. A food exposure doesn't have to involve tasting a food. A lot of parents get really hung up on the pressure of tasting and, just trying a bite. And, tasting is important. But a food exposure can be just looking, can be smelling, it can be watching other people around the table eat. So that modeling behavior is really important, especially for those of us with more selective eaters in our households. And it reminds us, the style of eating kind of reminds us of something of a framework called the division of responsibility that a lot of dietitians like myself teach and model for our families that we work with. So the parent's responsibility is to choose when the food is presented, what is presented, and kind of how it's presented at the table. And the child's responsibility is to decide from those items presented what to eat, and sometimes whether to eat at all. And this kind of relaxed style eating, I find, really does let parents take a breath, and that it takes a little bit of the pressure off, right? We don't have to actually micromanage our kids' eating. That's just a responsibility that we don't need to take on. And a lot of folks find a lot of relief in that idea. So this kind of easeful meal where people can be encouraged to attend to their own preferences and a variety of choices are presented are really helpful. Just as a visual, I actually pulled ingredients literally from my fridge and cabinet for what I'm gonna offer for my table tonight for when my family gets home for the day.
That's fantastic. While you're getting those, I will just echo that as a as a parent of a new eater, hearing you tell me to take that pressure off really feels good. You know, we get so in our heads about what they're eating and how much they're eating and what they're trying. But like you said, it's wonderful to think of it as a whole body experience and not necessarily just about what's getting inside.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And this is borne out by research. This isn't just me talking as a parent or, you know, even from subjective experience with working with families. This is actually what the research tells us. So yeah, it's a great approach.
A huge weight off.
All right. So I'm going to hold this up best I can here. So this is basically the makings of a grain bowl. So I'm starting with, this is brown rice. I will often prepare a pot of brown rice or another grain to eat kind of throughout the week. But on the days when I'm pressed for time or I just don't have any on hand, I always keep a few of these packages nearby. These are actually microwavable. They take 90 seconds in the microwave, and they're a really, really great time saver. And they come in all kinds of different varieties. You can get different grains. There's some rice quinoa combinations out there. So take a look and see your market, what's available. You might find that helpful. I'm defrosting some chicken tenders. So I'm gonna just very quickly saute those in a pan together with this is baby spinach, easy to grab, no washing necessary. This one's from Fresh Express. So I'm gonna saute those together in the pan. The chicken tenders are small, so they cook really fast. And then I'm gonna offer just a variety of different produce items. I've got these are actually sweet peppers there. There's some cherry tomatoes, and this is a beautifully ripe Mexican Hass avocado, which I'm just gonna serve along the side as well.
It looks delicious. You're making me hungry. It's not quite lunchtime for me yet.
Yeah, and then for a little flavor, I really like mixing avocado together with plain yogurt. This is just a plain whole milk yogurt. And I make a little sauce and we can drizzle it over the top. I'll probably add some spices as well. So that is how my husband and I will choose to eat it. My daughter, who likes things separate, can choose any of these components and combine them on her plate how she wants to. I've included items that I know she likes and a few that I'll give her the opportunity to taste if she wants to have them. So it's a nice flexible way of eating. It's a crowd pleaser. And there's a lot of deconstructed meals you can do. A platter, a deli platter is a great one. Baked potato bar, build your own taco situation can be really helpful, but it's a fun way to eat.
I love that. And I also really loved what you said about the division of responsibility, right? So I'm wondering a little more about the division of labor too, because I suspect there are a few parents on the call hoping that we'll give them a way to delegate responsibility to their kids. So I'm wondering if there are ways that you find are really helpful in getting kids involved in the kitchen, or activities around cooking or just being in the kitchen that you might want to share with the group.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I think the first thing to keep in mind is to kind of carefully work with what you know your kids' preferences and interests are, first of all. So some kids are more cautious eaters, and so you're going to want to offer those foods that are familiar and maybe get them excited about preparing a food that they know that they like, right? That's going to be the hook for some kids. Some kids who are more adventurous and like more experimenting will want to branch out more. So that's when you're going to be thinking about also including foods that are maybe a little bit on the edge for them, or preparing a food a new way that they haven't tried before. So knowing what kind of hooks your child is going to be helpful in sort of getting them interested. Kids of all ages can be involved in some way in the kitchen. Babies can sit on the floor and hold a spoon. Babies can experience an ingredient with whatever senses that they're choosing to use, right? Preschoolers can practice scooping and measuring with greater and greater precision as they get a little bit older. School-age kids are really getting interested in using knife skills, because that seems like a really exciting skill. And maybe doing a little bit of stovetop cookery as well in a supervised way. These are some tools that are really handy. See that?
Yes.
Here, and this is the same thing, but a smaller version. These are sometimes marketed as lettuce knives. And they're just a plastic blade with a serrated edge. And they're an excellent first knife for anybody from, I would say, preschool age up. Even age 2 could, do some really basic chopping of soft things with one of these. This smaller size, they're generally marketed as knives for kids, but you can sometimes see them as a lettuce knife, but they're usually a little bit larger. So you can get the one that's kind of the right size for your kiddo. And then graduating up to a sharper blade with age-appropriate kind of supervision, and demonstrating good technique with a non-dominant hand and kind of a claw shape, and getting them used to using a tool with confidence. It's a real engaging confidence and skill builder for kids. And then teenagers, I think, are very starved right now for independence that they are missing. And I think that getting them involved in the kitchen on their own terms, giving them a little bit of agency, can be a really powerful way to not only honor their need to be more independent, but also honor, the connecting with the family bit that they might not tell you that they need, but they really do need. So giving your teen the opportunity to even prepare a meal once weekly is a great experience for them. Even if you end up eating pancakes or scrambled eggs, I urge you to just go with it, and then give them some agency and authority in the kitchen, as much as they are interested to do it, even with the shopping as well.
It's worth the experience for them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned school age kids, and I think sometimes we forget that food is science too. So I'm wondering if there's anything you might want to share that parents who are looking for or looking to check that educational box in the distance learning plan, if there's something that fun that we might do in the kitchen with them that can serve that purpose too.
Yeah, for sure. There are a ton of great resources out there. The kitchen, I really think, is absolutely the best room in the house for engaging with any kind of academic subject, right? So you can explore history topics through the history of ingredients, cultural cuisines, certainly food science, math skills, so doubling, tripling, having a recipe, and certainly the valuable technical skills of cooking itself. Even art can be explored in the kitchen. So you really can tackle almost every subject area. A lot of parents get stuck on kind of where to begin. There are a lot of very comprehensive, great curricula out there that you can go and discover online. And I certainly encourage you to do that if you want, but gosh, you don't have to. You can keep it simple. I always think a good starting place is starting with a single food or ingredient or a single recipe. So if I'm talking about, let's say I'm making a snack with yogurt, just because I have this here, right? Starting with that ingredient and then asking your child and coming up with questions with your child about what makes this interesting? Where does yogurt come from? What makes this a healthy food for me? What is dairy farming like? What is it like to be on a dairy farm? Do I have any dairy farms near me, right? So you can kind of see doorway upon doorway and an opening together with these explorations that you can do in tandem with your child. A couple of great resources. One that a lot of people don't really think of are actually food manufacturer resources. Not too many of us are going on to, the Stonyfield website or something like that for actual information. Maybe we want to look up nutrient content or check a flavor or something. But a lot of these sites actually have pretty neat info. So Stonyfield has a lot of information on organic farming. And there's actually a kitchen experiment that you can download that is a soil test to test the pH of the soil in your backyard. So you never know when you're going to find these little nuggets. And I like passing that one on to parents because there's a lot of really great information there. There's also a huge variety of sort of food related shows available now too. And so I think if we're going to be doing some extra screen time, which I think a lot of us are right now, there's some really great content out there. Emily's Wonder Lab is wonderful, very science-based, especially for the younger set. There's a show called Taste the Nation, which is hosted by Padma Lakshmi, and it is a great exploration of different cultural food traditions all around the United States, focusing on various immigrant experiences. And then there is a family cooking show. I think it's called The Big Family Cooking Show or something very similar to that, which is really great. It's actually a challenge show where families come together and cook in the kitchen as competition style. So there's some really great inspiration there as well.
Those are fantastic. And for those of you who are listening and frantically trying to write all of these down, we will be sure to send you all not just a replay of this call, but also any of the resources or shows or websites that Minna mentions. So you don't have to frantically take notes. We will send those all to you.
I'm going to do a quick demonstration of someone that I have on hand. Is that all right?
That would be lovely. Yeah.
So this is a really simple kitchen experiment. Not all your experiments or not all your kitchen education rather has to be specifically about food and cooking. So this uses, cooking oil on the top, water on the bottom, and food coloring.
Okay.
Right on the bottom here. And then I'm gonna drop in an Alka-Seltzer tablet. This is like a little DIY lava lamp almost. So as I'm dropping those in there,
oh, how fun.
You can begin to really kind of see the bubbles coming up there. It's a little hard to see on camera. But when you do them with bright colors, it's really, really fun. And so this is something you can talk about, something really simple like, you know, which is heavier, oil or water, and how do you know that? For older kids, you can begin to talk a little bit about chemistry. So maybe talk a little bit about polarity, right? And I just want to emphasize that if you as a parent don't necessarily know all about a particular science concept, that's actually really okay. You don't have to. You don't have to be the expert. Again, we can keep this simple. What you can do is partner with your child to brainstorm the resources that they could use in order to conduct this exploration. So tapping into their science teachers at school, their librarians, maybe doing a parent-supervised independent research project on a particular topic or question that they have from what you've done together.
That's fantastic, right? Yeah, we're all wearing the teacher hat without the teacher educational background, and it can be really intimidating to tackle some of these things, but we don't have to be experts. We can just help them find the information.
Yeah, it's always best to let a child lead when it comes to learning.
I love that. Well, I'm cognizant that we have hit our time, although I could keep talking to you about this all morning or all afternoon, I think. So before we go, any final words of wisdom that you'd want to share with parents, or any ways that if they are looking to learn more, they can do so?
Yeah, for sure. Megan is going to be sending out some resources that I've prepared for you. So I'm going to be sending you a few little experiments that you can do, and a few recipes, including some recipes which are allergy friendly for those of you with kids or other family members with food allergies in the house. Great resource for those. You can email me anytime as a Hannaford dietitian, and if you are interested in organizing a kid or adult group learning experience, the Hannaford website is links to our dietitian schedule, so you can see what we're doing in the stores. And the dietitians as a collective are also going to be hosting a series of educational events through Eventbrite on heart healthy eating, eating for diabetes, and eating to support an active lifestyle. So if those topics are relevant to anyone, if you go to Eventbrite and search for Hannaford, that is the easiest way to find out information on all of those things.
Fantastic. Well, Minna, thank you so much. This has been great. I think we have had a wonderful chat from a theoretical standpoint, but also have some really great practical things to apply in our own homes. So best of both worlds. And I'm so grateful that you were able to make the time for us today and to talk about those things. And I am thankful to all of you who could join us As Minna mentioned, we will be sending around all of the resources she mentioned and some others that she has prepared for you, especially. As always, if you have questions or concerns, you can reach out to our team as well. I will drop our email in the chat here. But we're here to support you in whatever ways you need to be supported, and hope to see you on our next Pep Talk. Thank you again, Minna. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Everyone.
Thank you.